Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. The most beautiful, delightful, joyful, loving, giving manifestation of the Supreme Lord as the blue boy of Vrindavan with the peacock feather, frisking about in all life situations, bringing joy, happiness and laughter in everyone's life. Such is our Krishna. And today, on this auspicious occasion of Janmashtami, I invoke the blessings of Bhagwan on all of us so that we can live a happy life, cheerful, ever giving, ever sharing, and ever serving. And on this special day, I'm delighted to release the very first ebook for kids, Krishna's Potful of Mischief. Today evening, we'll be having the Janmashtami celebrations. Please join us at 10:30 p.m. where together we greet Shri Krishna. Now, we will proceed to our talks for Upadesh Saar. Hari Om. Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam, Trailokyam Sacharacharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. When we forget from whom we have gained everything, there is ego, false pride and attachment. And that breeds vasanas, bondage from action due to our attachments to the results of action and our consequent reactions. When we do our actions out of gratitude as a dedication to the Lord or the totality, then when the result comes, we accept it as prasad with the attitude of acceptance. Mind is calm and cheerful. Such a cheerful and calm mind becomes a focused mind and is the fit equipment for not only spiritual heights, but even in this world, to live through life's different challenges, problems, situations, circumstances. It is capable of living and even attaining success in the world. But this attitude of prasad, of acceptance, is there when there is devotion. Thus, in a temple, in a place of worship, we have this attitude. That's why whenever we accept a prasad, whether it is cold, whether it is less, we still feel so satisfied when we take even the prasad that we eat. And that attitude is there of acceptance. And if it is there in every situation in our life, after every action that is done, can you imagine how life would be peaceful, cheerful, and single-pointed? Because mind which is calm can be easily made single-pointed. But how do we have this attitude all the time? It is when we have devotion. How to cultivate this devotion? 3 sadhanas have been pointed out, 3 practices have been pointed out. Puja, japa, and dhyana or chintana. These 3 sadhanas have pointed out. Puja, first, when we cannot see the entire universe as the form of the Lord, then we choose our own symbol, icon that have been pointed out by great rishis. We choose that and we worship, and worship is seva. Whether you are doing it for murti. And herein, let me tell you, all these sadhanas are to be practiced according to the stage that we are in. There's a lot of condemnation for murti puja, but the whole world worships through icons, operates through icons, through symbols. And a picture speaks more than 1,000 words. It is what a picture, an idol, brings to our mind. Just as when you see the picture of your mother, what emotions it brings to your mind, what memories it brings to your mind, what qualities it brings to your mind. At the same time, when you see a picture of your girlfriend or your boyfriend, what love it brings in your mind. In the same way, we keep that symbol and we invoke the presence of the Lord in it. And as we serve, we develop devotion. Lord has got many forms. In fact, every form in the universe belongs to that one ultimate creator, cause of the universe. But our chosen deity, with the knowledge that all forms are His, all forms are divine, when we choose our deity and we worship, as we begin to serve, you know also, even a maid or a servant that looks after your children begins sometimes to love the children, if not more than the mother, as much as the mother. Through service, love is developed. That is called as puja. Also, when with our body, speech, mind, we are worshipping the Lord, mind becomes focused, mind becomes calm, and the ideal that we are worshipping in that idol, when it comes to our mind, as our mind thinks, so it becomes. Thus, the mind gets enriched with positive values, develops over a period of constant thinking of our ideal, admiration of our ideal. It begins to develop those virtues, all which are conducive to live a life of peace and cheerfulness. Also, at the same time, as long as we perform such actions, such worship, when the mind becomes calm, so as you said, as long as we perform these pujas, and the great masters have made it in such a way that it is a great psychological purification and strengthening of the mind. At the moment, we may not go into great details of even the choice of flowers that are used, the incense that is used, the impact of the aroma, the impact of waving the lamps. All this has an enchantment in the mind that brings the mind to focus on the ideal single-pointedly. And when the ideal is noble, virtuous, our mind takes up that texture. Also, while you're doing these sadhanas, these practices, when the mind becomes calmer, it becomes calmer and calmer, the pure and calm mind, which is called as sattvic mind, is a very powerful mind. Even addictions or negativities or guilts, grievances, habits that we have cultivated over a period of time, those deep-rooted vasanas, when the mind is calm, they, from the unmanifest and the subconscious mind, they come up. It's very important while we are doing the sadhana to know also properly. That is why we require a teacher, a guru, to guide us in all these practices. Otherwise, soon we will give it up in frustration. For puja, we have the support of the body, the speech, and the mind. And therefore, it is easier to bring the mind to concentrate on the puja. It's important to do it with attentiveness, and when there is love, there is attentiveness. But even when love is not there, as we go on serving, the love increases, and what we love, we do the action or the service with joy. And whatever we enjoy, our mind gets concentrated on that. And when we begin to enjoy doing the puja, as it is said in Narada Bhakti Sutra, Pujadishu Anuraga, that when we start in that puja finding love, then we are developing bhakti or devotion. And there is an inner peace and joy that rises. This pure happiness that rises in the mind brings further focus of the mind. At the same time, very important to understand that when we are doing these sadhanas, first mind becomes calm, but after some time or even after certain days, it becomes monotonous, and then mind ventures into other thoughts. We have to bring the mind back, and therefore the elaborate pujas are all designed in such a way that the mind comes back to it. When the mind becomes calm, at first there is a very good feeling. But in that calm mind, when the conscious mind becomes calm, the subconscious mind first throws out its unfinished, undigested thoughts. And you'll find that the mind goes to random things, irrelevant it seems at that time, or something that's insignificant. Bring your mind back on the puja. And when that happens, and the mind in a way empties itself of these unfinished, unnecessary thoughts, again there is a stage of calmness. When this stage of calmness comes, then the subconscious mind throws up many of its suppressed feelings, desires, likes, dislikes. It throws that up. Do not despair. The whole idea of puja is that with the flowers, we are offering our vasanas. With the fruits, we are offering the fruits of our action and freeing ourselves from the anxieties. And as we offer all our heartfelt goodness, even our negativities get washed away. And in that divine atmosphere, the mind gets cleansed. And therefore, through puja and seva, what we gain is the purity of the mind. The mind which is uncluttered by unnecessary thoughts, which is clear of its impurities. This is what is achieved through puja. And when we have in our own temple or in the temples that we visit, when we have personally done puja, the benefit of that is this purity of mind. And in the puja only it's demonstrated that what we offer now comes back to us as the gift of the Lord. The fruits of our action come to us as prasad. And when prasad comes, I remember when we used to conduct Balvihar classes, two things we used to teach the children. That at the end of the satsangs, we used to give them prasad. Sometimes a sweet, sometimes a candy. And we used to tell the children that if you get more than anybody else, share it. And sometimes children will come up, oh, I want the purple one. It's just the wrapper. But I want the purple wrapper, not the orange wrapper. And we say, it's prasad. Prasad means you accept what you get. I remember once I was walking on the road and one of our little Balvihar child was walking with the parents on the other side of the road, saw me and said, Swamiji, Swamiji, Swamiji. The parents tried to pull him back because they would have also to come. They send their children to Bal Vihars, but sometimes they themselves don't attend. The children must improve. That's the attitude. But the child has seen, pulls the parents, and the little child can really pull the 6-footer father. And when the parents come there, how is my child? How is my child behaving? And since we have taught the children to share, if they are eating some chewing gum, they will say, Swamiji, chewing gum. Now normally I don't eat between meals that much or that often, and that too also chewing gums. I said, no beta, I don't eat chewing gums. Swamiji, prasad. And even the child knows if it's prasad, it is to be accepted without likes and dislikes. When that attitude is cultivated in the puja, in the temple, or any place of worship, in fact, in every place of worship in every religion, in the ending, whatever you get, you accept. So when that attitude of prasad is there and the mind becomes calm, it is said, accepting prasad purifies the mind. And we think that only eating some dessert is eating prasad. But it is the attitude of prasad that gives you a prasanna mana, a peaceful mind. When in the puja room, regularly we perform puja in this manner, when love and purity comes to the heart, we begin to start seeing our love everywhere. Haven't you seen how grandparents or even parents, wherever they go, even if they go shopping, they're only thinking about their children. They go to a party, they're only thinking about their children. They go to work, they're only thinking of what they can buy, how they can educate their children. That is the power of love, that you begin to see your beloved everywhere in the universe. Then from Murti Puja, we go to Kirti Puja. We start seeing and worshipping the Lord in every form, every person, every creature. And therefore, many people could not understand that how in India we worship. And worship does not mean that always with lambs. We feed the birds and the crows. We water the plants with even milk and water. We worship the ocean, rivers. All these provide to us just as the provider God. And therefore we see God providing us through all these elements, these phenomena in nature, and the trees, the plants, the rivers, the ocean, the air. And when you start seeing them, at first in your mother, in your father, in your grandparents, in your teacher, in your guru, when you begin to see God in all the beings, not that you worship in a place of worship where there's a temple, church or mosque or a gurdwara, and come outside and be inconsiderate of the people there. We begin to spread that love everywhere. And our love expands moment to moment in every action during the day. When the action is done, that whatever I do for anyone, I am doing it as a love offering to my Lord. And thus, through all the people. Therefore, our mission pledge is the service of the people is the service of the Lord of Lords. Devotion to the people is a devotion to the Supreme Self. So when we begin to see Bhagwan's Virat Roop And every action is done as a love offering, as a service to the Lord. And service is not a favor. It is our love offering out of gratitude. When we do that, moment to moment becomes a puja. And whatever we receive is prasad. Thus, moment to moment, we live in joyfulness, cheerfulness, and in peace. This is also what was called as Karma Yoga. You can see it is no different in Bhakti Yoga or Karma Yoga. Karma without devotion is not Karma Yoga. And love without service is not love. Love without giving is just a word, I love you. Thus, see how wonderfully all these paths integrate. So, by service, bhakti develops, and as we have seen, when we work in this spirit of Karma Yoga, the mind is freed of its results of action, the vasanas. And thus the mind becomes calm and pure. One day, the sister of the great Lokmanya Tilak, he was one of the stalwarts of the freedom movement in India. His sister came up to him and said, "Brother, I am telling my son, who is barely a teenager right now, to at least before he goes to his school or when he comes back from his play, to go to the altar and pray. But he keeps on saying, I don't know if there is God. Why should I pray? And if you say God is everywhere, why should I go to the temple and pray?" So she said, "He admires you, he listens to you. Would you explain to him?" So he says, "I will." She brought that boy to his uncle, Sri Lokmanya Tilak, and Lokmanya Tilak said, "My child, mother does so much for you. Why don't you do this much for your mother?" He said, "But why do I have to go and pray in a temple or do this puja?" He said, "In a very nice way, your mother has told you that if you want to be good, do good, you must pray and you must worship daily." He said, "But I see you doing so much good. You are such a great man of goodness. I don't see you sitting in the temple and doing puja." He says, "I do puja every day." He said, "But I have not seen you in a puja room, in a place of worship." He said, "Come." Took him to the veranda and he says, "Look outside. The sky is the dome of my temple. This earth is the platform. And all these living creatures are my God. And my service to them is my puja." This is called as Kirti Puja. Our rishis have glorified this as yajna, this as puja. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. When we do that actions of ours with this attitude, that let the welfare of everyone take place, and whatever comes as a result is for the benefit of everyone. And when I accept it, what I receive, I am at peace and I attain purity of mind. Thus, from Murti Puja to Kirti Puja. Most people say, I'm doing my duties, is that not enough? We are really not doing our duties. When duty is done out of gratitude to the Lord, not as a favor on someone whom you like, that only builds attachment, anxieties, disappointments, bondage. Jagada Ishadji Yukta Sevanam. So when we do seva with the attitude that whatever seva I do, it is not lip service, it is for my Lord. And whatever I get in life, whether sweet or sour, success or failure, joy or sorrow, pleasure or pain, in fact, is the gift of the Lord for me. It is for my best. And when I accept it, I am at peace and I've gained the greatest benefit of what is to be gained from any action. And that is that through that action, we release ourselves from our bondage, our habits, our vasanas, our agitations. This is how these sadhanas, so practice it daily. Even those of us who are in constant service of the world, do spend some time privately with the Lord of your heart, even though we have the knowledge that Lord is in everything and everyone. And such moments of quietude, rendezvous with your beloved, enhances, develops, reminds you of the love we have received from the Lord, from the universe, and makes us discover that love within us. This is the glory of puja, which is seva. Yet, the way our rishis have designed this puja, it is not the formality of it. It is not the rigidness of it. But there is a complete science behind it that we will discuss some other time, because there is one more puja, and that is called as Manasa Puja. That finally we can do all the puja, all the steps of the puja in the mind. And Shankaracharya has demonstrated such a Manas Puja. With this devotion, when we act in the world, we are living a life of Karma Yoga, and we are expressing our love. The more we express love, the more love grows within us. It multiplies. Thus, devotion grows, and with devotion comes the right attitude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.